Good morning, students. This week you do have 3 exams within your week's content. And so you've got the final module exam for Unit 9, and then you have your pretest for Module 10, and then you get into authors, points, and reasons. And there's a quiz at the end of this lesson. But what I want you to note is that your informative essay begins this week. And what I've noticed is that I feel like sometimes you guys are jumping just like straight to a quiz or straight to an assignment, but you're not actually clicking through page by page. And then you have a hard time when the larger writing pieces due, understanding the prompt, or maybe you haven't prepared well or planned out your essay well, and so then you go to writing the final draft, but you haven't done all the work that the content has been asking you to do. So remember, the lessons are there because they're building upon each other and they're giving you everything you need to get that final clean copy done well. Excuse me. So in this first lesson at the end of the week, it is going to give you your 4 topics and the article that you will be using at the beginning to kind of try to start writing an informative essay. And so you will have 4 different options. You'll be able to write about a famous leader, a famous event, the role of women, or the roles of allies connected to the American Revolutionary War. And the text that you will be using is here. So this is what you'll pull in for points in the quote sandwiches, okay? But this is going to talk about writing with research and pulling in informative pieces of information to be able to give information to your reader. So I really want you to review this, what's going to be in the introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusions, right? We're always looking for those body paragraphs to come back to the topic. So you're going to pick, one of these prompts, and you're always going to go back to each body paragraph will either go back to how did a famous leader contribute to the American War? So if you pick someone, you're constantly going to link it back to answering that question for your reader. If your information doesn't answer that question, it's probably a bit of a tangent. Okay, same thing. How did a famous event change the course of the American Revolutionary War? Well, you're going to have 3 different body paragraphs that answer this question, or this question, or this question. And each of your body paragraphs at the end of it, your reader should be able to say, I now understand how that particular detail explains how women made a contribution to the American Revolutionary War. Whatever your prompt is, it needs to constantly go back to that in those body paragraphs. So even though you've got exams this week, note that you are starting this essay. You are starting to read the text connected to it. You're going to start looking at the graphic organizers connected to an informative essay. You're going to do some brainstorming and things like that. Do not skip that, even though it's just an exam that you're turning in. Make sure you slow down and click through page by page of the content. And as always, please join the lab hours if you have any questions.